Hello, I'm Sebastian, and I'm developing a horror game set deep in the dense forests of Mississippi. In this game, you find yourself trapped within a strange, radio-based anomaly, where light is your only refuge against the twisted creatures and eerie figures stalking you through the woods. Your goal? To find a way out of the anomaly while managing your dwindling light supply and navigating the terrors around you. If this is your first time here, welcome. Just a quick disclaimer, everything you see in this devlog, models, sounds, effects, and even the working title of the game, are all temporary assets. My focus right now is building core mechanics and nailing the atmosphere. Things are constantly evolving as I refine and playtest the game. The radio has gone through a significant redesign. Originally, the idea was simple. You'd hear a beep when something valuable was nearby. But there was a problem. If you were lost in the woods and heard a beep, you knew something good was close, but you had no idea where to go. It also had to balance range and precision, and that led to some frustrating situations where you knew something was near, but you couldn't actually find it. So, I reworked it from the ground up. Now, instead of being a passive tool, the radio requires active attention and player input. Think of it more as a dowsing rod for danger and opportunity. When you turn on the radio, it beeps faster as you face the right direction, similar to a compass, allowing you to actually find the source. But here's the catch, you won't want to leave it on for long. This change ties directly into the new overuse system. If you keep the radio on too long, it draws the attention of a particular threat, an invisible monster. This entity is normally hidden from view, but using the radio too much will trigger its hunting cry, and from that moment on, you're being hunted. To make it clear you've gone too far, I added an overuse warning sound directly into the radio. You'll know when you're crossing the line, but by then, it may already be too late. The radio's background noise also changes as you approach overuse. It's subtle at first, a shift in static, a distortion. But the closer you get to attracting the monster, the more apparent it becomes. It's a vague signal that something's about to go very, very wrong. And you'll have to decide if you're brave enough to keep the radio on. The invisible monster is only spawned through this system, making it a unique and deliberate threat you can avoid. But at the cost of efficiency, it's a direct, tangible punishment for trying to play it safe by leaving the radio on. Let's talk about one of the newest additions to the monster roster. This one is the ambush monster, and it's built to capitalize on moments of player weakness. Specifically, when your flashlight battery is low. The logic is simple. It stays hidden, stalking you from a distance. You might catch a glimpse of it if you're paying close attention, but it won't strike immediately. It waits. Here's how it works. Stalking state. It stays at a distance, moving between cover points, watching, waiting. This builds tension since you might see it dart from tree to tree in the distance. Decision point. After stalking you for a random amount of time, it will either attack or flee. The choice is random, 50-50, but if your flashlight drops too low, that decision becomes a lot more one-sided. It will always attack when your flashlight is weak, capitalizing on your vulnerability. Attack state. It moves in for the kill, charging straight at you. If it reaches you, you're dead. Flee state. If it decides to flee, it runs away and you'll likely never see it again. At least for a while. The design behind this monster is to encourage flashlight management. The flashlight recharges over time, but it's not instant. If you drain it too far, you may not have enough time to recover when you realize you're being stalked. It's that sense of being followed and knowing something is waiting for you to make a mistake. It's not just about reaction speed, it's about resource management. The invisible monster is still very much in development, and it's one of the trickiest challenges I've faced. The concept is simple. It's only visible near the player. When it gets too close, I want it to reveal itself fully, making its presence undeniable. Here's the problem. Since the game uses a top-down perspective, you would have far less reaction time than you would in a first-person or third-person view. With limited reaction time, this whole invisibility gimmick becomes way less impactful. And if you can't see it coming and you can't react in time, the monster stops feeling fair. I'm currently experimenting with methods to give the player a bit more warning. The goal is to make sure that the player has enough warning to know that it's coming, but not so much that it completely removes the fear factor. If you have thoughts on how to handle this, I would love to hear them. This is the first time I've worked on an invisible enemy system, and the top-down view adds some unique design challenges. This update wouldn't be complete without mentioning the new invisibility shader. Right now I'm using it for the invisible monster, but I would love to see if it can be used in other monsters or mechanics. The shader does more than just turn the monster invisible. It creates subtle distortions in the background, like glass or heat waves. So you can technically see it if you're paying attention. It's not true invisibility, it's more like imperfect camouflage. The shader has several adjustable parameters for distortion strength, color blending, and transparency, so I can make each monster feel distinct. With the new monster behaviors and radio rework in place, my next step is private playtesting. I want to see how these systems hold up in the hands of other people. Are they too punishing? Are they scary? Do players understand the radio's overuse system and how it connects to the invisible monster? These are all open questions. More monsters. I'm really interested in pushing monster AI to be more complex. Right now, most monsters follow a simple idle then attack behavior. I want to see more nuanced decision making, like monsters that fake retreats or ambush you from new angles. Monster specific events. Instead of random, generic, high intensity events, I want certain monsters to have unique, story driven encounters. These encounters will feel more personal and memorable, making each monster feel distinct in both gameplay and lore. Fine-tuning the fear curve. Not every moment needs to be high-stakes terror. I'm looking at ways to build slower, quieter moments that lull the player into a false sense of security before something horrible happens. This ebb and flow of tension is crucial to maintaining a sense of dread and unpredictability. Playtesting. Once I have feedback from playtesting, I'll know what needs to be rebalanced or completely reworked. I'm hoping the radio system holds up, but if not, I'm ready to make adjustments. Playtesting will be key to finding where frustration outweighs fear and ensuring every system serves the overall experience. Map system. One of the most exciting additions I'm planning is a dynamic map system. As you explore, you'll fill in the map with undiscovered locations and paths. This encourages players to pick and return to a safe zone as a home base instead of the more nomadic lifestyle I've seen most players adopt. The idea is that knowledge of the environment is power, and if players feel like they have a safe place to return to, it opens up a whole new layer of strategy, but of course, I'll have to balance it, so you're never truly safe for long. UV flashlight. This is a late-game, high-power tool that works like a secondary light source. Unlike the main flashlight, the UV flashlight runs on scarce, collectible batteries scattered throughout the map. It offers a much stronger light, capable of driving back monsters more effectively. But it's a resource that needs to be saved for critical moments. It also opens up opportunities for hidden mechanics like revealing invisible clues, markings, or monster tracks that are only visible in UV light. It's still in the conceptual phase, but I think it could add another layer of strategy to resource management and exploration. This project has been one of the most challenging things I've worked on, but I'm so happy with where it's headed. The ambush monster forces you to think carefully about how you manage resources like light, and the invisible monster, well, I'll keep you updated as I continue to figure it out. As always, I'm open to feedback and suggestions, especially like features on the map system and UV flashlight. If you have thoughts on how to make these tools more engaging or terrifying, I'd love to hear them. See you next devlog.